Good morning or good evening, everybody. My name is Poison Ducky, and let's get into a Beastman versus Lizardman onslaught. I really like this new patch, how they've done the Beastman good, especially they changing Minotaurs, the changing Ungor Spearmen to be a bit more expensive, but now they get Vanguard deployment, and you get to see the power of Vanguard deployment. Although, to be fair, in the Lizardman matchup, Vanguard deployment is not the most important thing in the world unless they're going like full skink skirmish or a kite build. But I'm going to have 4 units of gore herds, extremely fast, very powerful, hard-hitting infantry. Like with 28 charge bonus, this is as good as some cavalry. And the newly added, newly improved Ungor Spearman herd with Vanguard deployment. So they all move up along with defending my Ungor Raiders, 5 Ungor Raiders, just in case he brings any form of Dreadsaurian, in this case the Shredder of Lustria, so that's quite dangerous. And the newly Vanguard deployed Destroyers of Drakwell Poison Spear Ungor herd, which is going to be really nice, especially when dealing with that. I have an extra unit of spears here. I'm going to have some Senegors with great weapons for my like big oomph, big backline pressure, big powerhouse, hard-hitting units, and 2 units of Chaos Warhounds with poison, because, you know, Chaos Warhounds are really good against skinks. Now I'm going to have, of course, with the sub-faction I've chosen, I'm going to have the pasty Beastman, no tan Beastman. I'm going to have Morgar the Shadowgave. Of course, very good. Chaos Spawn are good, it turns out. Unbreakable units that deal pretty decent damage, yeah. And I'm going to bring the Lore of the Wild in this case. Increase my... I really like the passive of the Lore of the Wild. It just increases vigor and charge bonus. And when you have such an aggressive build that really high charge bonus, like it relies quite heavily on your charge bonus to deal a lot of damage, especially like on your gore herd, I like it. I like Lore of the Wild a lot. Now my opponent, on the other hand, is going to make an interesting choice of going the most elite of elite armies. When I say I have a large amount of units, I say I have 16,000, which is pretty nice. My opponent has 298. Yes, 298 units. And why is that? That's because he brought the Shredder of Lustria along with the Star Chamber Guardians. That in itself is such an expensive load. Not only that, he brings 1 unit of Sacred Kroxigors and normal Kroxigors, so that's 2,200 in the bank, with Saurus Warriors and a little repetitive, but he brought 1 Skink cohort, like, that's not going to be too useful in this matchup. And Tic-Tac-Toe, so Tic-Tac-Toe is a pretty cheap lord, but to make sure his army is the most expensive as possible with the fewest units possible, he does bring Lord Croak with a little skink chief. Not even on a pterodon, just a skink chief just to poke at my units. Lord Croak got a heavy nerf. He's so expensive now. Was it plus 300? Oh god, it's terrible. Now let's get into the replay. It's going to be a little fast. I'm going to be very busy over this weekend, as I have to pick up some slack from my coworkers, and this starts out with a Gore Herd versus Shredder of Lustria. I'm going to just completely charge past them. It's not worth it for my Gore Herds. Going to make sure to try to destroy what little army he has left and engulf them. Now, of course, I have to make sure to send the Ungor Spearmen with poison to deal with the Dreadsaurian. Now, these will die and they will lose, but at least they will hold them off. Poison is extremely effective against him, as it decreases his weapon strength to 600, while it's usually 750, right? Now, Tic-Tac-Toe trying to push into the back line of archers, but Morgar the Shadowgave will have no real problem fighting him. Master of the Skies and all, but Morgar the Shadowgave is nearly unkillable, right? Now, of course, I'm going to try to get Lord Croak out of this combat as soon as possible, as he does use one of his deliverances of Itzas and routes off a Ungor Raider unit instantly, which is, yeah, it's still good. The spell itself is still good. It's just not effective, right? Cost effective, that is. Now, all my archer units are going to be firing into this Shredder of Lustria, and I find that really interesting here because I have 17 missile damage on these Ungor Raiders. It's not a lot, especially in this kind of matchup, but the Shredder of Lustria is just so big. I don't think this unit's that effective. It costs like, what, 3,500, 600? Now, like, he does tear out some of my Ungors, but the Spearmen are just, like, I have 1 more Spearman. I'm sending my Spearmen in waves, so it's just going to hold him back, slow him down, while he can charge 1 unit of archers, but I have way too many archers in a concave formation. Now my gore herds are going to be routed by some Saurus warriors along with all these hard-hitting Kroxigors, but Brave Shaman on his chariot can deal with the Saurus warriors while I kill Lord Croak with all these Centigors. These Temple Guard doing what they should do and holding out. They're actually winning against 2 units of my gore herds, and I realize I'm stacking up a little too much, so I'm going to send my gore herds out of there. 1 unit is all you need to stop them, hold them up while I can, and I have a huge amount of just backline, well, not backline, but hammer and anvil going on with my Centigors with great weapons versus these Kroxigors. Kroxigors are just, they'll do great against gore herd, but Centigors with great weapons, that is not the play. Unfortunate. But I think the highlight of this opponent's army is definitely the Dread. Oh, he just punted Morgar straight out of here. And he's going to be charging straight back into these spearmen, trying to be as effective as possible. And of course, he realizes that, hey, maybe I shouldn't be fighting spearmen, and will be charging straight into my Centigors. I do get some Chaos Spawn into here, and I'll be retreating the second I see the Dread Saurian in here. With the exception of the Chaos Spawn being unbreakable is actually a really good unit for just stopping him. He's going to kill a model every time he attacks him, and only 12 models, that's 12 hits. But these Chaos Spawn are going to hold him up really well. And do you know what's really great? I love how the hitbox of the Dread Saurian includes his tail whenever he attacks. So the units behind him, my Ungors with spears, just get swatted like little flies. But more missile damage is going to come in. His HP is going to be relatively low. Actually, he's already shattered. That's going to be a win. Like, the second I take out the Dread Saurian is the second I win that battle. An interesting choice of units by my opponent. I suppose if there was a matchup where the Dread Saurian would be chosen, I would be pretty decent in the Beastman matchup because, well, actually, no, but Minotaurs would do so well against it, right? And Centigors can do really well. And I only lost 600 units. I mean, 600 is a big number, I suppose, but, like, only 600 when you have deployed 16,000. Yeah, I had a pretty decent. Archer's doing a lot. 0 kills on all my archers, but they're all shooting that Shredder of Lustria. Not a surprise. I just find that that's such a Marty McFly, man. Back to the Future, just got to make sure you have some units to actually hold a front line because the Dread Saurian, while powerful, needs some support. Now, if I were to use the Dread Saurian, how would I change that? I would probably go with, let's see here. I believe in you. All right. If I was going for the Dread Saurian, now in terms of lords, it's really your cup of tea. I like tic-tac-toe myself, but with the new, where is the Slan? Where's the Slan of Life? You have to be here somewhere. Oh, you're the most expensive one. So I'll definitely get the Slan of Life. If you want to get the Dread Saurian, get Earthblood. Where is Shield of Thorns? Those 2 spells are pretty much the only ones you need in this kind of matchup. In terms of the Order of Quetzal can be nice, but I don't think it'll be useful. It won't be useful enough for me to take because, first of all, it's how expensive? 122. But it's reusable several times. Okay, you could actually bring it. But you need the Slain Mage Priest of Life because you heal up my Shredder of Lustria. Where is my Shredder? 3,800, not 3,500. My bad. God, that's such a expensive monster. And how are we going to implement this? We need the Legion of Chakwa. Legion of Chakwa has a specific ability called the Shield of Chakwa, where it increases missile resistance by 44%. You need this guy to be stuck on the Shredder of Lustria. Reducing that missile damage is so crucial in letting him survive that much longer. And we're already using 2 out of the 3 Regiment Renowns. So what we're going to use, I don't think the Star Chamber Guardians are really needed. They do have Guardian for the Slan, but it's 15%. I would get it if I had like a Saurus Scar Veteran, but I'm not going to bring him. I'm not going to bring any Skink Chiefs. It's not, yeah, so if you had more heroes, I would definitely bring them, but not in this case. Now, how are we going to implement and like support the Shredder of Lustria? We need some infantry, and that means Skink cohorts with javelins. I think 4 Skink cohorts with javelins. Use our last regiment around for the cohort of Sotek. You get maybe 2 Saurus warriors with shield, so you have a little bit more meat to your front line. And we're already almost out of money. Like, geez, that much, and we're already out. That's just, it's devastating, right? So let's see what else we can bring. I suppose if you wanted to bring even more healing, because this Shred of Lustria is going to be like shredded himself by any missile play, bring a Bastildon with Revivification Crystal. I think he's really fantastic for this specific. I don't use him that often. I only use him if I know I'm going to have a bunch of, or one really important target. But in this case, you obviously have one really important target. And with 760 funds left, I think we can just bring a, what it would be the most cost effective here, 450, that would be 900 cost if I got 2 of them. So what I can do here, and there you go, 1 skink cohort with not, actually, that would be a little redundant. You don't need that. I feel like you would die too easily. I don't like skink cohorts without javelins, because javelins are just so much better in my opinion. Probably just get a Saurus spear just to hold down any units. I don't like the Saurus spear unit that much, as it's not a very powerful unit, and we don't have enough money to really use any more chevrons. And that's a build that I would probably bring into the, if I did bring the Shredder of Lustria, this is probably the setup, because you still have to have a pretty decent front line, and all this infantry along with the Shredder of Lustria, you need Legion of Chakra to stick together, and Life Priest. Life Priest is actually really influential. The ability to heal heavily along with the Shield of Thorns is going to be nice, especially using the Shield of Thorns of the Shredder. Make sure he doesn't get shot down, because that's the biggest weakness. Any projectiles, even ones that are not armor piercing like you saw with my Ungor Raiders, deal such a big number on this unit. So, I hope you like my recommendations. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you guys later.